Councillor Rosati.
Well, thank you again, Madam Chair. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all of the community members, the ratepayers, and all of the things that you have said. You came out tonight in force, and that's very, very impressive. And I want you to know that I, for one, and I'm sure all of my colleagues, based on what we heard and what I know, we will be supporting you, and we will, as we have already done, and make the developer aware that the proposal as it is not supportable. It's not supported by us. It's not supportable by you. And I do appreciate all, and I agree with all of the comments that were made tonight. Very, very impressive. Secondly, if progress is not made, you can be assured that this council will be supporting you, and we will be taking a stance, whatever wherever that may lead us, particularly if there is an appeal. We will not let you down. I want to make sure that that's understood, and I think my colleague will probably say something similar. But I want to emphasize that point, and I want to once again say thank you to all of you for coming out and for making your views very well known, and we very much appreciate it, and we are with you. I'll leave it at that for the sake of time. Keep it short.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Ferry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My comments will be very quick as well. First of all, a special thank you to all the all those who made the deputation. I mean, you spoke eloquently and thoughtfully, and the message is very clear. If this project goes through, it'll fundamentally change the nature and character of the community. And so there's a need to start over again. And I don't want to re-echo all the comments that have already been expressed, but I second all of those. I mean, the density that you're proposing is way too high. There are the traffic issues. There's parking difficulties. And so you need to address all of those. For me, the proposal as written, I cannot support, but I'm optimistic as well that based on your commitment so far, that you will meet with the community. And remember, community engagement is not one meeting. Community engagement is a process that takes time, negotiating, and a willingness on both sides to be reasonable as well. So if you proceed with the local councillor, the community ratepayers, and others, this will be resolved. So I'm optimistic that that will happen, and encourage you to carry on. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Racco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, thank you to everyone for making the comments. I think you guys have made some really good comments, and clearly you are all very passionate. It's clearly just from hearing most of you, you're a long-time resident in that area. This is Glen Shields, and I used to represent this area, so I know this is a very well-established area. It's very well-established and mature neighborhood. And when developer comes into a neighborhood such as this, they should learn one thing. They should learn to be respectful of the existing community. When they come in and have no regards of what the community wants, that's really disrespectful. The fact that you've been working on this application this is what my understanding is, for at least a year plus, and yet you have not reached out to them until this last week, when you finally reach out to them, I think that shows total disrespect. If you really wanted to work with your community, you would have reached out to them ages ago, and you would have worked with them, you would have talked to them, you would have consulted with them. That's what called good partnership. But clearly, this wasn't reflected. not from what I heard from the community. So I think this is really, sorry, one second.
This is the concierge speaking.
Okay, Councillor Rocco, that's a
Sorry.
little weird.
Sorry, one second. Sorry. So I think the best thing for you to do is engage your community, engage the ratepayers group, engage the people that are here tonight, and the people other than here that aren't here tonight. But this is what you need to do. You need to listen to the residents, and it's not just giving them the mouthpiece and just say, yeah, I'm going to listen to you. I truly mean you have to listen, and you need to take steps and do things properly.
Okay, I think someone's telling you to come to a conclusion.
Okay, I'm gonna conclude very quickly. You know what? All I'm gonna say is that you need to stop making excuses of using. That's my last point. You got to stop making excuses of using a housing crisis as the reason why you're proposing this ridiculous plan. So that's it.
Thank you, Councillor Racco. We have next Regional Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I as well want to thank all the deputies tonight. I know how nerve-wracking this could be and have a lot of courage to stand up to the mic, but I particularly want to thank the lady, I think her name was Mrs. Brown, for the extremely kind words about my mom. Mom was very proud of that area. She loved the fact that all the streets were named after golf courses. My mom did like to golf, so she always enjoyed sharing those stories, and we definitely don't want to ruin that for her. But I just, I guess my point here is, I guess what really irritates me is, I'm going to go back to the seniors stuff. Like, they sell it as if they're doing something good. When you really look at it, 43 units, you look at Rivera, you look at the different you look at all the different retirement home providers, they're not going to take over 43 units. So I hope when this comes back, let's just blow the smoke away and call it what it is. It's going to be all rental units, because I think that was very deceptive, and I really didn't like that one bit. But you know, and I hear the community. They only found out about a week ago. I only can speak for myself, but generally, you know, what I'll call great applicants and people who are very wanting to engage the community. Beyond engaging the community, they engage the ward councillor, and they engage the regional councillors and the mayor. I mean, I only can speak for myself. I never got a call. I never got an email. Nobody reached out to me to say, hey, this is what we're looking at. Can you give us your thoughts? Zero. I don't know. I see the deputy mayor and the regional councillor residing, the mayor on the screen. I mean, I don't think they probably were contacted either. So, which is really unusual tonight, except for item number 1. I was aware of them. They called and said, hey, you know, this is our project. Do you have any questions? Let us know. Zero, you know, radio silence from this group. So, I mean, it's, I think the communication, they need to hire a new communication team to manage this process with that. But, Madam Chair, I can't support this in its present form. As I said to earlier, this, when you really think of it, this is precedent setting. When you look at all the neighborhood commercial plazas that we have in the city of Vaughan that are smack in the middle of subdivisions, what if everybody else starts getting this idea? I mean, it just can't be done. We have problems, you know, out on our regional roads, you know, and we work on projects, but right in the middle, I mean, Glen Shields Avenue is a city road. It's not built for, you know, to be a big collector road or a regional road. I mean, it's just in the wrong place, you know, so I can't support it the way it is. I would even have problems with 4 stories, but if that's the way the plan is, the OP is right now. But I also do think, though, and maybe whoever moves this motion, I'll look to the ward councillor. Maybe a part of the motion can be also that we go up to 1 kilometer on the expanded area, because right now I think it was only at 150, which I don't understand why it was only 150 meters, but we need to go up to 1 kilometer plus. I know for some of the projects in western parts of Vaughan, we've gone up to 1 kilometer, so I don't know for future notifications that this can go as a wider circulation area. So I'll leave that to the ward councillor to move that motion. But Madam Chair, once again, I want to thank everyone tonight for their interest, and you're not alone. We are behind you. So I don't want people to feel that they're out and we're not listening. We are listening. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, folks. We're almost done. All right, so before I turn it over, I do have a couple comments. Is that okay, Councillor Schuffman? All right, so first of all, thank you. Thank you for being so well behaved. I really appreciate it. I know this is a very passionate issue. And listen, if I still lived there, I would be right there with you. I understand what you're going through. This project is just not in keeping with this community on that road. So far, it is far away from transit. This type of development should be on Dufferin, should be on Steele, should be on anywhere but an internal subdivision street. And I also say, and I think Regional Councillor Jackson mentioned it, we have a few subdivisions with commercial in the middle of the subdivision. We have those. If this happens here, this is precedent setting for all the neighborhoods with the same, not just where you have plazas, because I took a look on the map. You have 2 schools on Glen Shields. The school boards are starting to make some of the schools redundant. So when they do that, they will then sell that piece of property. What do you think will happen on those properties? If you have this approved here, that will be replicated on a school site. And all the subdivisions have school sites on them, that some of them are barely open, you know, they're not able to sustain the population. So they're going to go. And so this is why this is so critical. The decision that is going to be made by this council is going to be so critical, because what happens here with you, you're the model, you're the test, you're the pilot, let's put it that way. And we have to make sure we get it right. This is not, for me, personally, is not the right place for it. So I understand, you know, where you're coming from. I understand your passion. You were all very, very eloquent tonight. Consider yourselves blessed to have such a good community that everybody has a way of speaking on your behalf and bringing something to the table that's new and novel. It's been actually a very good evening. So I want to thank you all. I cannot support this.